What is happening, folks? Here for another experimental show. You got Michelle right there. There I am up front, Jacob. This is the experimental show. Every Sunday, 9 a.m. We're here for another one. This is going to be a pretty interesting one. You see me pointing with my carrot here. We've got delivered to us from a great customer and someone who found us through teaching classes at the studio. They saw our awesome product, the Detroit Puddle, which we cast recycled glass on top of a sewer cap, very similar to this, and it gives the imprint of Detroit underneath it. So this is a product we've had for a long time. My parents had started it back in the day, back when they were still in Detroit, off Michigan Avenue in Livernois. But this is a Dearborn Heights one, so we're going to give it a shot. Michelle's got the ladle right there. That's a pretty heavy glass scooping piece of equipment, and here it is. I took a giant scoop out of the recycle tank, and what happened there, I didn't really do it correct. I was letting it drip, and I wanted to get a little more, so I tilted it a little bit more, and the whole thing fell out. So you can see there's this cold edge on the left side from the thin part that was touching the side of the ladle. And so that kind of messed it up a little bit, but we weren't looking for a perfect circle to begin with anyway. We wanted to see how the mold reacted, or how the imprint came on the bottom of the glass. For a little extra imprint action, Michelle was squishing it down with the squisher there. You see how cold that glass on the side got? I just gave it the tap and it popped right off. But this is a really cool visual to see. That's a pretty large amount of glass. That was probably had to be 10 pounds or so of glass that was just ladled onto there. And you see it cooling down. The core, the middle, is still going to stay the hottest. The outside's starting to get cold. That's the tricky thing with doing larger pieces like this, or big castings. What's touching the metal is going to cool the quickest, and then from the outside in. So you want to take it off at the perfect moment right about now, where it's not going to bend and it's not going to fold or anything, but it's also still not too cold that you put it away and it cracks after the fact. So we can't flip it and look at it right now. I'll show you guys this on Tuesday, show you the final pieces and how they turned out, but this went straight into the box. We can't reheat that. Torch on top would do nothing compared to how much heat's being pulled out of it from the metal underneath it. So you get one shot. We wanted to test it out and see what happens, and get it in the box. And that's what we did. What we're looking at right here, and something that we weren't really expecting at all, is kind of this like black goo that came from inside the sewer cap. From that 2,000 degree glass laid on there, for some reason it pulled out that material. It could have been, our best guess so far is that it could be from having multiple layers of asphalt put over it, and then the sun bakes it into the metal. We're not really sure. I was testing right here the heat of it on the side, because that was a lot of glass on there, but it's such a thick piece of metal, it soaked up that heat, and the side still wasn't even warm to the touch. So I slid it over. We're gonna go for a shot here on the Dearborn side, which is already still bigger. It's probably 33% bigger than our Detroit Puddle to begin with, but in general, this is just a really cool sewer cap. You see it says City of Dearborn. It's a little bit dark, but it says hometown of Henry Ford. You got the big water on the bottom, and then on the left side, or on the right side, I'm sorry, the USA is a really cool looking little piece as well. But you can see me in the back there, kind of the way my feet are working, taking a gather. I've got a gathering ball, so there's a steel, probably like 2-inch diameter ball on the end of that pipe. Allows for a bigger surface area to gather up more glass. So I took one gather, showed you guys, let it cool down a little bit, and here's the second gather. You can see me really work, and I'm digging up as much as I can. And then the way you lay this on is super important. I could have used a little more glass, but you'll see at the end, and it's pretty satisfying, honestly, the way it comes back. I'm able to use the last little trail there to cover up that final spot, and then cut it and tuck it into the hottest part of the casting so that it melts down and doesn't have that cut mark on top. This is another interesting one too. I mean, the imprint of Dearborn on the bottom was super prominent. You can kind of see in the parts that the sun are hitting, the way that those letters are kind of beveled to a sharp edge up at the top, so it really allowed for really getting a nice clean imprint in there. Same thing happened when you'll see when we take it off, maybe that the Dearborn has this kind of asphalty goo coming out of it. So I'm going to speak with the owner and we're going to talk about what we think the best way to do it. I'm thinking maybe I just get a big water blaster. I forget what they're called. Power washer. Get a power washer, lay that outside and try and just power wash that off of there. I don't want to mess up the rest of the patina, the kind of rust on the outside either though, so I'm going to get his suggestion and we'll go from there. But this one worked out well too. It's a lot thinner. You got to be careful with the tip of that. That gets too cold and you're going to have an issue for sure. But it takes 2 people with a bigger piece like that. Michelle helped me slide that off. And into the box it goes. You guys will see on the bigger one, it actually cracks after the fact. We had it sitting on the table waiting for this coming Tuesday when we're going to show you that piece. And during the night, one of the nights, it just wasn't annealed for long enough, being such a thick piece, that it actually cracked. There, I just said, we'll see. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So thanks for watching on this experimental show. We got a few more really cool ones coming up this next month. Subscribe to the channel, folks. A big shouts out to our VIP members. And spread the word. We'll be live on Tuesday, 6 to 8 for our Gathering Point show. Sundays at 9 a.m. our experimental shows weekly. Thanks very much. Have a great week.